Okay, so here it is the next day, ready to come out. Doesn't look like much right now, does it? So there you see we got a 1 inch and 3/1000ths, close enough. This was the bottom and this is the top. And these are all the places that I had got the bubbles to come up through. So that's it, that's ready to make into slingshots. Okay guys, now let's take it from the finished slab, which this is 1 inch thick now. I put it through the joiner and through the planer. I've already showed you this earlier in the thing. Right now you can strategically plan where you want, what pattern. But I'm going to do it on this side so that I can easily dodge this spot here. So I've already calculated. See, there's a little round on that corner, and so I'm going to, stay inside of those. I've got double stick carpet tape. You can get it on Amazon. Anyways, you've got a template of the slingshot that you're going to make. This is just a straight chalice style design. So I'm going to stick it on there. Leave a little bit of room there. So I'm missing that round, and there's that void there, so that's all going to get trimmed away. So here's a template that Clever Moniker sent me, thinking I would put it in the middle of a lamination, but I'm going to actually use his template and just make a single layer HDPE slingshot. So there's the 3-inch double stick carpet tape, and if you don't trim off the excess tape, yeah, your router will cut it, but your bit will get all gummed up and it's a mess. So spend the time, trim off the excess. Now you guys saw the oven that I cooked this in, and you see the 8x8 brownie pan or a cake pan it fits that oven perfectly. And this will make 2 full-size slingshots. So I'm good to go there. And everywhere that it's close, I double check on the back side. It's close here, there. It's good to go. Alright, let me go cut them out on the bandsaw. Okay guys, I'm going to cut these out, but I'm going to stay an 1/8 inch away from the templates. Okay guys, I'm going to use a 1/2 inch flush trim router bit. I'm going to run on the template and cut the HDPE. Okay guys, also when you make a template, I ground a little bit off of it before I put the double stick tape on it. Gives me a place to get a pry bar in there. And if I pry toward the template, I don't mar the HDPE. I love to use Corian for templates, but it's brittle. So it's easy to work it, but you got to be careful when you pry it off. If it's something I'm going to make a lot of, I make a Corian template and then switch the Corian or take the Corian and like here's the thumper template in 1/2-inch plywood. I have it in a Corian in the original, and then if I'm going to make a bunch of them or more than a couple, I'll make a plywood template. And there's the ramp that I was telling. It's on both sides because with HDPE you might go one way or the other depending upon what you're trying to get into it. And then you double stick carpet tape. It'll just pull back off of there. It's unlikely that you can use it twice and get the same grip. I wouldn't recommend it. So we'll see if we can get clevers off of here. This one doesn't have a ramp, but it's more flexible. So this is 1/8-inch plexiglass and it's about as thin. I can barely get the rubbing ball bearing onto the template, so yeah, it's pushing the limit of thinness. So there, now we see that slingshot taking shape. It's a dedicated side shooter. Peel this stuff back off. Alright, while they're still square, I usually deal with the attachment method. So this one's going to get grooves for bands, and this one's going to get drilled for flip clips. So we'll go drill this one for flip clips. Okay guys, getting ready to drill this one for the flip clips. Flip clips take a 5/16 hole, and you need 3/4 of an inch for thickness as a minimum, unless you want to alter the clips. So I have a simple jig here that when this slingshot goes up in here, it puts the 5/16 hole a 1/2 inch down and a 1/2 inch over. And then I just flip the slingshot over and I'll do the other one. So there we are, drilled for flip clips. So let's go put the grooves on it. That's what's in there, 3/16 ball shaped end mill and the router table. I'm going to do a test cut and see where it's at. It's at 90 thousandths, and I need it to be 150, so I need to go 60 that way, and that's why I put this dial indicator here. Now I could just come over here and go 60 over and make another test cut. should be pretty close this time. Well, there we go. 150. The way I'm set up, you'll have to verify these things for yourself, but for my setup, that's where the flat needs to be that wide for the flip clips to work. It needs to have 150 thousandths in. So for this shooter now, it's going to determine which is the front and the back once I put the grooves on. Oh, that side's really pretty with them stripes in it. So I'm going to make this be the front. So my clip grooves are going to go on this side. So the HDP is interesting material. It feels so hard and sturdy, and it is, but you can literally do the countersink those holes just by hand with the countersink. Now, if you don't do them on the side where the grooves are, the edge of the clip can't drop down in all the way. It's not obvious, but if you look close at it, you need to bevel this edge a little bit. So it's just that much. Takes that sharp corner off and lets the clip settle down into the groove. Just like that. So check your flip clips and make sure that when they fit in the groove, they should have a little wiggle right and left. Now that 3/16 round end mill, I did not take it all the way in. I only went in 50 or 60 thousandths. And so that gives you a groove that there's room on both sides of it for the band to come up underneath that tongue on the flip clip. And don't get confused with your flip clips. There's right and left to the flip clip, so if this was going to go in the over the top, it goes in this side. See, and it's nice and centered on that fork tip. If it's going to go through the fork configuration, it's going to be on this side. So that is the mechanical aspect of this one now is worked out. Now all we got to do is radius them for comfort. Okay guys, going to radius these slingshots now. This is my favorite part. But you can change a lot by the way that you radius these blanks. I mean, it's completely sharp cornered everywhere. But we can't put the big radius up here. You know, when we went around, we would eliminate part of the fork. But this slingshot is held like this. So I want the big radius in that area there and all around this here. So I'm just going to heavy radius this one in those areas. And then the second choice comes in, I don't need to radius it on the back side or the target side. I could have that be wider there so it's more for my finger to rest on and just put a little small chamfer there on that. So I think I'll do that on this one to show you the difference of how that looks. Now this one, this is the shooter, or this is the shooter side we're looking at here. I want to radius it all the way around, and I'm going to radius it here in the throat, right around the fork tips because they're an inch thick, and I can actually take some off. I only need 3/4 of an inch for the flip clips, and there's lots of different things you can do there, but let me radius them and then you'll see the differences. Okay, so now you can see this is the side that the clip goes on. Let me grab the clip to make that very apparent. If you're shooting over the top, that clip would go right there with the tongue for up over the top. So you can see this area here, I left that square, I didn't go up there. If I went up here, I'd wipe out the clips. So I'm just going to run a small little bevel around this here to take the sharp off of it. I could have beveled up here, but what it does is if you don't, let me use that hand with, see that how that leaves it wider? It leaves a wider surface there that your finger and your thumb can rest on, and they can hook over this way. So you could either make a small bevel there, or you can put you don't have to use this great big radius, we could put a smaller radius there. But I'm going to put the bevel like I said. So let me switch over and put that in. Okay guys, now we got a 45-degree chamfering bit in there. So that'll just cut a little 45-degree bevel around the piece. Now here's a good example of another thing that happens with HDPE is you'll get this film on it, and that'll actually scrape right off with your fingernail. Oh yeah, I'm running out of battery power here. Anyhow, I still got to cut the band grooves in this, but I'll do that over on the milling machine. So, and then you can just use a scraper and take off the sharp edges and work like that. Okay, well, my battery's going down, so I guess I got to stop.